Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for this first 15-minute talks. The Mobility Club is really pleased to launch this new series of events. As a reminder, the Mobility Club is a private circle dedicated to global mobility players. It was recently joined by Total, by Hutchinson, by NG and by BNP. The concept of the 15-minute talk is really simple. We invite an expert every Wednesday and we ask him 3 questions. Today, we've decided to spend some time regarding the EV markets. So do not hesitate to introduce yourself in the chat tab on the right side of your screen. Today, I'm really glad to invite Jose Baghdad, automotive partner at PWC, to share market perspectives, customer needs, and recommended actions for OEMs. You all know that global auto sales plunged during the COVID-19 crisis, but electric mobility has remained remarkably resilient in some countries. So, Jose, I'm really glad to discuss with you today. Over the last years, OEMs made significant investment for electrification of vehicles, but how to convert the current investments in significant revenue pools?
So thank you for the question and thank you for the invite. I'm very glad to participate to this club. So to answer to your question, to win the e-mobility race, OEMs have to define today more tailored selling propositions that they used to do. And we think there are 5 focus areas on which they have to put their effort. First, focused segmentation and targeting, decide where they should play first, depending on the brand, depending on their target. They should address specific demand segments where highest intention to buy is very good in the short run. Second, value proposition. It is different to sell conventional cars and EV. So in that sense, you should have more defined tailored product and service offerings. Customer expect bundle offerings, and OEMs should enlarge their partnerships with, for instance, utility providers in order to have a combined EV and services. Customer support should also be a focus in order to ensure post-purchase phase, in order to reassure customer on the recharging issues, if any. Third focus, channels. The value proposition of dealership should be reviewed in terms of remuneration of dealership, but also to have EV champions in dealerships. We should have EV specialists in dealership sales force because it is slightly very different to sell electrical cars compared to conventional cars. So, and the experience should be well differentiated. Fourth focus, marketing and communication. We should stimulate the intention to buy. So it is well done today on B2C segment. It is not well done on B2B segment, and particularly on communication. So an effort on that area, and I will deep dive maybe later. 5 and last focus, customer experience. How to convert the intention in sales. We should have some EV-specific customer experience in design, in deploy the expectations for the customer to make the customer experience more compelling. It's different, once again, to buy a car. Your expectation, your fears are not the same. So you have to differentiate your customer experience. And you should also measure really this customer experience with some customer satisfaction survey dedicated to your EV customers. So 5 areas: segmentation, value proposition, sales channel, marketing, and customer experience.
Thank you very much, Jose, for those 5 precisions regarding the supply side. Now let's talk about the demand. In Q1 2020, PWC launched a pan-European study to capture the market perspective. Regarding the survey results, how do you differentiate EV owners and EV prospects?
Yes, during your study, we interviewed a lot of people, final consumers, enterprises that have some fleet, and we see that today, the number of consumers that have EV, the EV owners, is really limited. It's 2% of the total of consumers, so very limited segment. And this segment is high income, middle age, and live in city centers. So a very niche segment. When we look at the EV prospect, people that said that they would like to buy EVs, they represent 2/3 of the people that viewed. So it's a much larger panel of prospects and potential clients. They have less income, 50% less, and so it's a challenge to say how we can attract those prospects when they have less income and maybe also different aspirations, where their aspirations are more regarding climate change, for instance, or also to benefit from EVs in order to circulate more easily in city centers, for instance, with regulations that we have in cities. So yes, there is a huge difference today between EV owners and EV prospect, and there is also one segment that should be more analyzed on the B2B part, where less attention is given to mid-size groups, where they have, let's say, high intention to convert to EVs, and when already major groups are already have also already some fleets, some EVs in their fleet. So it's important also to address the B2B segment on for the mid-size enterprise.
And regarding the B2B segment, what are your advice? Because it's really a fast-growing market. Maybe it represents the most sizable market. So how can automakers deal with this B2B market? How can they address it? What are your advices regarding this segment?
Yes. So what was very surprising with our study is that we saw that there is a big gap in the level of satisfaction between B2C segment and B2B segment. On B2B, most of the clients said that they are not fully satisfied. There is 20 points of differences between B2C and B2B. It means that today, clients on B2B are not supported like they expect, and more attention should be given to this segment. So first, customer satisfaction on B2B is key, is a driver on all the journey for sales, and particularly in the after sales in the services that are provided. So if you want to differentiate yourself from B2B, focus on satisfaction and on service you can provide on this B2B segment.
Thank you very much. I don't know if some people here have some questions, so do not hesitate to ask some question in the question pool. We could have some time to deep dive in today, or we will do it in the next sessions. Do you have one more point, Jose, you want to deliver during this keynote? One additional point regarding this study. The study was made before COVID, I think. So maybe do you have any additional precision regarding the past context last year before COVID and now? What's really the differences regarding the context?
Yeah, the difference is the sales. The sales market is much more active on EVs today that it used to be before the crisis. So it's good news. And we can see that, for instance, Zoe is very popular, is selling very well, but other models are selling very well in the EV segment. And so there is now, let's say, a difference that with a déclic that we saw on the market from customers that are ready to go or and buy some EVs more easily. But a key point is still the satisfaction, which is still not at the levels that are they expect. So please focus on customer satisfaction and mainly on the charging processes, how people can recharge, and services that are still key in differentiators in the sales process.
Thank you very much, Jose, for those few words of conclusion. And I think in the following weeks, we're going to deep dive in those aspects also, organizing some few sessions with all the speakers regarding the infrastructure, regarding the charging experience also, because it is clear that it's one of the breaks for consumers to really adopt electric vehicles. I think it's time. So now to conclude, I really want to thank you, everyone. Maureen is asking one question, so I think maybe we have 2 minutes to ask it. Maureen, you just asked, where do you see the most value to capture by startups? It is clear where the innovation, where those new entrants can capture the value. Maybe if you want to take 2 minutes to take this question.
Yes, I've got a strong conviction, or as I mentioned, on customer satisfaction. So all startups that will be able to bring value on how we can measure this customer satisfaction, how we can segregate better customer profiles in order to define the best services that they expect in order to bring more added value. For me, it's a key area. So customer management, data management are really important in order to differentiate. So aggregate those information that you can collect from your sales process, from your marketing processes, but also all the information on your current clients in order to understand better the expectations and to provide the good services. For me, it's key. And for sure, another segment is all the services that will be embedded in the car that will differentiate. So all new project services that can bring value in the experience from the drivers will be also bring high added value that can make the differences. So any startups that have very good ideas in terms of innovation on entertainment in the car or security or other areas is also, in my mind, very important.
So you make really a good transition because Unibail-Rodamco and Total were asking about those services. They were asking how we can provide, in addition to charge services, other services. So you talk about entertainment, all the connectivity we could have in the electric vehicles. Do you have other ideas of relevant services we could deliver to the customer?
Safety in order to to make sure that your journey will be safe. If you want to have people with family with a different approach where you fear about how to use an EV or the autonomy, but reassure that, and you said by being in an EV tomorrow you'll be much more safer, much more safe than in a conventional car. Will also make the difference if you want to attract families. And I think also I talk about entertainment to anticipate also or maybe the requirements of your customer to have in fact to make your car as it was several times mentioned a very good smartphone that is able to also take you from a point A to a point B. So it's all the type of services that can provide a device that we are used to is key. And as a transition from your device to the car should be smooth with no impact on the customer experience.
Okay, super clear. So really connectivity and electric vehicles, it seems that there are two links which are really key to develop electric vehicles. So I think it's time to conclude this session. I really want to thank you all. If there are other questions, we will deep dive in the following weeks. Just as a reminder, we can take some time in October to talk about electric vehicles and the EV market in general. So let's meet next week, and the following weeks, we're going to welcome two experts. We're going to welcome Sophia Nadur, which is an e-mobility expert at BP, And we're going to welcome Anne Lehmann, who is the ex-innovation manager at Blue SG, the Auto Lib in Singapore. So he's going to help us to make a deep dive in the car sharing area and the particularity to manage an electric vehicles fleet. So let's meet next week, and really thank you all for joining us this morning. It was really a pleasure to talk with you, Jose. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.